My parents want to take me to court for increasing the rent.
Get that money, dude.
You gotta get that cash. I bought a small starter home during the housing market crash, completely by myself. I lived there for the better part of a decade before buying a larger home with my now husband. My parents really wanted to live there because it was small and easy to maintain. They have foreclosed in the past, so no way would they be capable of someone giving them a mortgage. By the way, this comes from Novel Patient on the OK Storytime subreddit.
And you can use that against them.
Yeah, in court.
And in rent. Like, oh, since your credit's bad, you're going to have to pay more.
Also, my dad is retired and my mom doesn't work. They wanted to rent from me. For a discounted rent, they paid off the mortgage, let's say $50K, with an over 6-figure inheritance my parents got. A lease was written explaining that it was a prepayment of rent and their rent would be only the taxes and insurance and they would pay $350 a month. That's very cheap.
I've noticed that when people pay less, they fight for more.
They're like, we want to pay even less.
Yeah.
Basically only going up when taxes/insurance goes up. We signed the lease with all the other typical stuff in it and had it notarized, and that's how it's been for a while now.
Okay.
So to be clear, I'm not making an effing dime on this house. I recently told them the rent would go up by $3.
Stop.
Because of a slight increase in the insurance. My mother lost her crap, claiming I'm a money-hungry bee. She was going to rip out everything she did, garden and other cosmetic changes that I owe her, and I can't evict her because it's her house. She's not responsible for the insurance. Lease says otherwise. Insurance has been raised in a decade looking at effing lumber prices. I'm trying to make her pay my personal homeowner's insurance. A court will show me that and give her my house.
Oh,
this lady's delusional.
What the heck? $3? Just don't go.
Just literally don't grab a coffee.
Yeah.
Just don't buy coffee one day
per month.
and you're fine. Per
month.
month.
You know what? Just go 1 month without coffee.
And then you've got like way more money.
Yeah.
We have a notarized lease. They are listed as tenants.
Yeah, the notarized lease.
Yeah. They have a lease that tells them that they had to pay the $3 increase. I am the only one on the deed. My father demanded the bills. 0 balls this man has to see if I'm ripping them off. P.S. This house is a commutable distance from effing Manhattan, so a studio apartment around here is like $1,500. This is a house with a large yard for the dog. I can easily get $2K for this house even before they moved in. I sent them copies of the taxes and insurance showing only their address. P.S. I'm charging them discounted taxes. You get a discount for paying in full 90 days earlier.
Oh, wow.
So he's giving them so many like discounts on this place.
Yes.
And they still want that $3.
Yes, this is the cheapest for their house.
New York house you can get.
Oh my gosh. I would gladly.
Please, I'll take it.
You know what? I'll do $500 a month, man.
Yeah, you can raise it $500. I'll do $503.
Hey, wait a minute. $504.
I told them to add and divide by 12 and told my mother to talk to a lawyer so they can slap them straight. I guess my father agreed with me because now she's divorcing my father.
Okay. I think it's just a mom, dude.
Yeah, I think it is. I think the dad was like, yeah. She was like, give me that $3. And he was like, yeah. Give her that $3. And she was like, we're going to take them to court. And he was like, well, maybe we should. And she was like, divorced. And that was the whole.
Anyone that slightly disagrees with her or slightly doesn't go, out.
Update. First, I want to thank everyone. I was mainly just venting because I was very upset after the exchange and have been dealing with some health issues, which my parents know about. So it's just a range of emotions right now. I keep getting a lot of the same questions. They've lived there for 4 years now. My mom has always been entitled and an alcoholic.
Oh no.
Weekends and summers were spent with family. My aunt admitted when I was an adult, it was to keep us from being around the alcohol.
Oh wow.
I mainly did this for my father so he can get a chance to retire after having heart surgery when he worked a physically demanding job for 36 years. Well, you can still do it for your father.
Yeah.
You can just kick your mom out and she can go off and find her own whatever. I don't know how much
live in a bar now.
$297 house. And she can be happy with that.
Yeah. And it's shaped like a like a beer bottle.
Yeah. Oh my God. They asked to rent the house and pay it off as a prepayment of mortgage. So the only big bill monthly was their health insurance. I had a few others interested in renting my house. I did not ask them for this. They did not co-sign on the mortgage or help with the down payment. Their name is not on my house/deed. There have been rent increases in the past due to the taxes and insurance going up. And there was never an issue before. My husband's dad unfortunately passed away without getting to enjoy his retirement. A big reason why my husband told my dad he needs to retire and enjoy life a little.
Dang.
They're so nice to these parents. OP and her husband are really trying to help them out, and this mom is just the worst. She just freaking sucks.
$3, dude.
And his inheritance helped pay the down payment on our new house. My mom has a history of putting crap on me, and $3 is, I guess, my line in the sand. I started paying $200 a week after I graduated high school until I moved out at 20.
For them.
Yeah, for them. And they can't pay you what you need. I worked about 65 hours a week on top of school to do this. And yes, shockingly, they foreclosed when I moved out. Oh, so OP was keeping them afloat in this house. That's what it seems like.
That's $800 a month.
Yeah, OP was $200 a week. Yeah, $800 a month.
He probably was paying the house payment.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I stupidly put her on my phone plan and basically paid her phone for 2 years until the contract ended because she only paid me for 3 months out of those 2 years. She promised money for my wedding and never delivered. They didn't pay for college. They stopped paying for clothes/school expenses when I was 16. Wow.
Dang.
Because I had a job. I know this is all a red flag parade, but I trusted my dad more than her, I guess, and thought I was doing a good thing. I also want to keep this house because I love it and want to move back one day. It's just too small for us as a young family. Or allow my child to live there when they go to college and want to have fun without parents hanging around or racking up dorm costs.
Yeah.
Also, she threatens divorce all the time.
Oh, so this is probably the dog barking, no
yeah,
bite.
it's just like he anytime he brings up something that's not in line with what she thinks, she's like, divorce. He's like, you say this every time. I can't keep up with it. How many times have we gotten divorced? I doubt she'll actually go through with it. And there is an update.
Wow. Yeah. I don't think she's going to divorce.
I don't think so. If she's like this stingy about $3, she probably needs all the help she can get.
Yeah. Because
divorce is expensive.
She's probably just using all that money for alcohol.
That's sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is probably maybe true.
I think she's going to chill out and stay because she's going to realize, I'm going to actually have to pay probably $2,000 a month to live somewhere else.
And also trying to take someone to court is expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think she has money. Nothing in this story has proved that she has money. But let's get into this update. To back up, after the divorce comment, they are not, in fact, getting a divorce.
Called it.
They went and celebrated their anniversary at a casino. Okay.
Classic.
Probably not the best place to go if you are addicted
they're trying to get
things.
Enough money to pay off the $3 more
they're like, we need
a month.
that $3. I did not speak to them for a week. This past weekend, I tried to speak to my father and get an apology, hoping he would be in a better frame of mind. He wasn't. He doubled down with the BS, saying they didn't realize all the stuff I put in the lease.
What?
That's on you. You didn't read the lease?
And the lease protected you.
This is ridiculous.
Only making you pay the minimum amount.
You can't get mad at what's in the lease if you didn't read the lease.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like full you.
And you can't be mad and stingy.
Yes.
You can't be dumb and stingy at the same time.
That my house was uninhabitable when they moved in. It wasn't. That they never would have put work into the house if they were just renters, etc. I asked them to specify and they said stuff about the garage screen door, the shed roof. My husband replaced 2/3 of it with my dad's help. Dad did the other 1/3. And by God, the hose. The hose leaked.
Dude, that's a big thing.
It's uninhabitable.
Yeah, whenever that thing's spraying around everywhere.
You can't live there.
My second cousin moved out of his third house.
Because of the hose?
Because of the leaked hose.
That in no way affects the livability of the house. But in the words of my lawyer, and you agreed to live there in its original condition, buddy, so that's on you. Just like not reading the lease.
Boom.
My dad went on to just say all these things they were doing for me and not acknowledging a dang thing I was doing for them. At that point, I said some not nice things, including the alcohol-induced dementia everyone mentioned. They wanted to know if they were still going to be able to take my son to the fair. Not a fat chance in hell. I told them I didn't want either one of them around me or my family until they stopped being delusional and to decide to pay the increase or get the F out. I then cried when I got off the phone, and my husband was upset with all of this. Cut to today. My mother called me asking what needed to be done to resolve this because not being able to see my son was upsetting them.
Pay $3.
We know what you need to resolve. $3.
That's it.
It costs, if you want to see your grandson, you got to pay the $3 fee.
Easy.
Told them they needed to apologize for what they called me and that they were out of line. Well, you guys, they were scammed. My parents were effing scammed. That's what this was all about. In my area, homeowners get daily calls / texts and letters from people wanting to buy their house. I get those all the freaking time.
Yep. And
they're so annoying.
Don't answer.
I just block them and I get them literally every week. It's not new in this market. I have even told them these letters are trash. Well, my parents were getting calls from people saying they were going to be renting the house. They acted like they were representing me. Someone also showed up to their house, and was being very pushy about trying to see my mom in the house. This all happened before I mentioned the rent increase. So when my mom heard rent increase, she thought these phone calls and this person was real. Like I was going to raise the rent to something they couldn't afford and force them out. This was before I told them it was $3. But even after, they thought I was throwing them out. I asked them why they didn't ask me, and they said they were scared and had no place to go. This is so frustrating.
And I feel like the mom has a ton of pride.
Yeah. She's like, I can't ask my daughter for
Yeah.
help. I explained to them that's not even how it works. I can't rent a place with tenants. There's a whole legal process and they should know this. They apologized for how they acted, everything they said, and were embarrassed. They were even more embarrassed that they believed this person and are officially old people that fell for a scammer because they thought they were smarter than that.
That's what hurts the most.
They're like, dang.
We're old now.
We fell into the trap. They hadn't given them money or information yet. That's good.
Yet.
So you didn't fully get scammed.
They said yet.
They were like, we were going to do that tomorrow, but we're reconsidering. I told them they were probably setting them up for it. Scammers will pretend to be renting a house and take people's last security. And when the new tenants show up, the house is already occupied and they're screwed out of the money or pretend they need money to let them keep living in the house. I have no idea why they believe / fell for this person or why they never asked me in the first place, since I don't and wouldn't hire a representative for my one house.
Yeah.
Their cameras were off when they came, but they're going to file a police report anyway. I told them to call the cops next time to file for harassment / trespassing if these people call or show up again. I got my apology from both my parents. What a plot twist. What a plot twist.
This is good.
But the real question, did you get your $3?
I don't think so.
We haven't found out yet. There's a little bit left. I explained everything in the lease and why it was legally written that way. I explained to them I can't throw them out on the street on a whim, and as long as they pay the minimum bills to live there, taxes and insurance, I was going to keep my end of the deal. So I guess that's my update. They're not getting evicted now, but I might have to start monitoring them more closely to see if they fall for other dumb crap. And by the way, you should watch us more closely at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap our profile.
When we go live.
And there is a little bit left to this story, but do you have any final thoughts, Riley?
I'm still not seeing the $3 increase.
I'm literally not satisfied until they pay the $3, until it's written explicitly in the story. I'm upset, but there's a little bit left to this story. PSA, a lot of us seem to have boomer parents, so I wanted to make you all aware of something. My parents have Medicaid, which in the great old US of A means that if they have a large medical expense, they ain't paying for crap until all their personal assets are utilized. This means draining bank accounts, taking property, and even requesting back gifts from up to 5 years ago. So for example, your mom falls and breaks a hip and winds up in rehab. Your mom gave you $20K for a new roof a few years ago. The government will demand that money before they pay for the rehab. They can take their savings and demand property in their name sold to pay for it. They legally cannot touch their car, but that's it. I know this from personal experience with a grandparent, and all of you should too, to help protect your parents.
Nice.
And that is the end of that story. OP didn't get their $3.
Dang.
OP, the whole point of this story was OP was like, I'm raising the rent $3, and we still don't know if we ever got that money.